p.m. Eastern Time on Sirius XM 134. That's how many days into the most important election of our lives, period. It is the key. It is Trump's values versus American values. It's not Democrat versus Republican. It really is not. It is, do you want 4 more years of Trump's values to take more hold of this country, or do we want to reject them and drive Trumpism to where it belongs? On the fringe of society, with the Klan and the neo-Nazis, the anti-Semites, and all the other bigots of our society. That's where they belong. So, Donald Trump had his Coronapalooza event on Saturday night. We just learned just a short time ago, 2 more Trump staffers who worked on the event have tested positive for COVID-19, bringing the number to 8 Trump staffers who did advanced work on the rally. What's remarkable, this is what it's saying, to Donald Trump, you have to not only work, you have to risk your health and your life and your loved one's life, because you can infect them, just to work for this guy. That's what he wants. And that's why Donald Trump's White Lives Matter rally on Saturday was a failure. Donald Trump thought that his base would be willing to sacrifice themselves, their lives, the lives of their loved ones, to cheer for him. It was not a campaign rally. It was a celebration of Donald Trump's selfishness and ego. He could have put it off. Oklahoma, where it was held, is not a state that's a battleground. It's actually a state that Donald Trump won by 23 points. He won it by 23 points in 2016. And he was boasting before the event they were going to fill up the 19,000-seat venue and even have an outdoor event afterwards. In total, according to the Tulsa Fire Commissioner, they got 6,200 people. Of course, the Trumpers are blaming Democrats and everyone else. Reality is, Donald Trump's base is apparently not as on board with Donald Trump as he thought. There's no day Donald Trump thought people would sacrifice their lives for him. And some would. 6,200 showed up at this event. But overwhelmingly, they did not. We're going to see how that changes everything for Donald Trump. Now, at the event, Donald Trump's rally, which I think he measures success by a packed event, good media coverage, and not being the butt of the jokes, well, he failed on all 3 metrics. Bad event, media coverage horrible, and he ended up being roasted online. In fact, there were more people mocking him on Twitter than attended the event. That's how bad it went for him. At this event itself, it was over 2 hours long. What did Donald Trump do? Well, he did not mention George Floyd. He did not mention Breonna Taylor. He did not mention Black Lives Matter. What he did mention, numerous times, he defended Confederate statues. Donald Trump is what white supremacy looks like in 2020. Also at his rally, even though Congressman Ilhan Omar's father passed away Tuesday, sadly, from COVID-19, on Saturday night, there's Donald Trump smearing her with lies. This is the reality of the world that we live in, where Donald Trump's viciousness, his vileness, which to me, that is Trumpism. People say to me, what's Trumpism? It's a celebration of cruelty at its essence. It's a celebration of selfishness, a celebration of bigotry and racism. That's what Donald Trump and Trumpism is all about. So at this event, he also joked, I put quotes, joked, about telling his people to stop testing for COVID-19. Why? Because the more positive tests that came out, the worse it looked for him politically, at least in his own mind. As opposed to, the more tests, the more positive people, then you can track them, find out how they're catching it, and then take steps to mitigate that for the future. That's not Trump. Trump doesn't think things through. There's a reason he filed for bankruptcy 6 times, my friends. That's what he's about. What else did we learn at the rally? Donald Trump did defend Confederate statues over and over. He gave us a sense of his platform. And we got more of a sense even this morning. After the rally was a failure. It's unmitigated failure, no doubt about it. Bad turnout. He's trailing in the polls. Donald Trump's platform now is twofold. 1, white supremacy, and 2, voter suppression. And we saw that today. Early this morning, Donald Trump tweeted that mail-in voting is rigged voting, and that it's going to be the greatest rigged system, corrupt election in the history of America. That's a lie. That is a lie. There are 5 states right now, including Utah, which is Republican controlled, that have all mail-in ballots. They had it for years. There is no history of corruption with their voting. And almost every state has absentee ballots, including Donald Trump is using absentee ballots, and there's been no issues. Donald Trump is panicking. Donald Trump knows he's going to lose this election. The idea of using white supremacy may have worked in the 70s with other politicians like Richard Nixon, but America's evolved. Donald Trump has not evolved with our nation. So tonight on the show, we're going to go through that in great detail, and also Bill Barr's stunning comments over the weekend that mail-in ballots will lead to fraud. Bill Barr is not just Donald Trump's AG. He's Donald Trump's co-conspirator in Donald Trump's crimes against our state. That's what he is. Now, we've got a great show tonight. U.S. Senator Sherrod Brown's going to join us again. Great guy. He's been on several times now. Really enjoyed chatting with him. We're going to talk about the dignity of work, what our federal government can do to ensure that you, everyone who works hard, finally gets paid what you earn, what you deserve. Because one-on-one negotiations aren't doing it. The federal government's got to get involved with a tax scheme that helps incentivize and punish companies that are not doing the right thing and paying their employees. Also, tomorrow's the big primary in New York. We have two candidates running for office. Jamal Bowman is getting all the press, is running for Congress, against Elliot Engel, is going to join us live, as well as Cameron Kaufman, who's running for New York State Assembly. And then Jameer Burley, our buddy, activist, is going to join us to talk about a lot of issues, including the heartbreaking issue of a noose found at the NASCAR garage of the only black driver over the weekend. So that and more. Again, my show is live, 6 to 9 p.m. on SiriusXM channel 127 Progress. And if you go to the website for SiriusXM, right on the front it says free trial, check it out. And then come over, watch my show. I'd love to hear from you, or email me, dean@deanofradio.com. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you tune into the show tonight.